Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 190. This is the one about Jeet Kune hypothesis or finished product. Actually, hypothesis to finished product or hypothesis versus finished product. I forget. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support the program, please visit jkdrebel.com, click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you'll see stuff like this, the 4 tenets of Jeet Kune t-shirt, coffee mug. I checked on this just the other day. T-shirt, coffee mug, long sleeve, hoodie, I said coffee mug already, that stuff, right? But of course, the best thing you can do is to share the video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. Okay, so in a 1965 letter to Taki Kimura, Bruce Lee wrote, "My mind is made up to start a system of my own. I mean a system of totality, embracing all but guided by simplicity. It will concentrate on the root of all things, rhythm, timing, distance, and embrace the 5 ways of attack. This is by far the most effective method I've ever encountered or will encounter. Anything beyond this has to be super fantastic. Wait till I've assembled everything." At the time of this writing, Bruce Lee's proposed art, because it wasn't even yet called Jeet Kune, this is 1965. It seems to fit the dictionary definition of a hypothesis, which is a specific statement of prediction, describing in concrete rather than theoretical terms what you expect will happen in your study. Now, as we all know, over time, Bruce Lee moved beyond the idea of making up a system based on what he actually put in other parts of this letter, a system based on Wing Chun as the starting point and Chi Sao as the nucleus. So the question arises, did Bruce Lee, when a couple years later in 67 or so, named his art Jeet Kune, had he arrived at that definite conclusion as to what the art constituted? Was all of his inductive or deductive research completed, and had he arrived at this final conclusion? Because we know that 4 years later, 4 years after this letter, in 1969, he wrote to William Chung, lamenting his loss of faith in all the classical systems, as he called it, including Wing Chun, right? And then, wasn't it 2 years later, in 1971, in the now famous Liberate Yourself article, which appeared in Black Belt magazine? By that time, 71, in that article, Bruce Lee had taken to making statements like this: combat as is total, and it includes all the is as well as is not. Your particular style, your personal inclinations, and your physical makeup are all parts of combat, but they do not constitute the whole of combat. I have in no way set Jeet Kune within a distinct form governed by laws that distinguish it from this style or that method. Now, how anyone comes away from reading stuff like that, whether you read a reprint, a PDF or something, or whether you were there with Bruce Lee when he wrote this, if you have a copy of the original 1971 Black Belt magazine, whatever your source, if you come away with the idea that Jeet Kune is somehow set in a specific pattern, which does not allow for experimentation, let's say, then I suggest that you may have missed something in your reading. And almost as if Bruce Lee felt the need to stress this point of, let's call it freedom, almost as if he felt the need to stress this point of freedom even more, he continued to write. Unlike a classical martial art, there is no series of rules or classification of technique that constitutes a distinct Jeet Kune Do method of fighting. To understand this fully, one must transcend from the duality of for and against into one organic unity that is without distinctions. Understanding of Jeet Kune Do is direct intuition of this unity. And then finally, I'll close with this. He writes, since freedom exists, because I want to get a part in there where he uses the actual word freedom. Since freedom exists within you, I cannot tell you how to gain self-knowledge. While I can tell you what not to do, I cannot tell you what you should do, since that would be confining you to a particular approach. So I want you to think long and hard about this. In fact, it'd probably be good for you to reread the Liberate Yourself article again and ask yourself if Bruce Lee ended up with a finished product given this name Jeet Kune Do. So what say you? Do you think that Jeet Kune Do is what do they call it, a catch-all or like a grab bag of techniques, or does it require that you follow a particular set of guidelines, or is Jeet Kune Do only what you learned from Bruce Lee, right? Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. Coming up on Friday, August 27th, Jeet Kune Do Dialogues episode number, I think it's 191. We'll be back on with Marcus Charles of MKG Chicago, and that should be at 6 p.m. Regular Eastern time on Friday. Today's Red Day. There you go. So I'll see some of you on Friday at 6 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll see you next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Talk soon.